Hello guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Hit the bell icon button so that you don't miss out any tutorial.
Color is one of the fundamentals of graphic design. It's a really powerful tool which, when used correctly, can have strong and meaningful impact to the viewer. So to learn to use it, you must first learn the basics of it. We begin with a simple color wheel, also known as pigment wheel. It's a very useful tool for understanding the relationships and mixes of pigment-based paints and inks. As designers, even though we might eventually produce an artwork with ink, the pigment wheel is too limiting. So we have other, much more complex tools to mix color available to use. One such tool, based on digital color, is the one shown here. Its first component is hue. To most people, that would mean the name of the color. But in digital colors, hues are identified by their position on the color wheel. Starting with red at 0 degrees and continuing counterclockwise around the wheel. The next component is saturation. It comes in form of a slider, which will change our saturation, or also known as intensity. And by changing the value of the slider, the selected hue or color becomes more or less intense. The last component is luminosity, also known as brightness. By reducing or increasing the luminosity of a color, we create shades or tints, just like adding black or white to a pigment. Setting the luminosity to either end would result in completely losing color to either white or black. By combining all of these components together, we're able to achieve a huge variety of colors. As visual artists, one of the main skills you will have to learn is the ability to understand color harmony. In visual arts, harmony is considered something that is pleasing to the eye. It engages the viewer and invokes sense of order and balance. When the colors of an artwork are not in harmony with each other, they could be considered boring or chaotic. The absence of color harmony could result in a bland, unmemorable experience for the viewer. Or, on the other extreme, the colors could be so overdone or chaotic that the viewer won't stand to look at it. Studies have shown that the human brain rejects what it cannot organize or understand. The science behind color harmony aims to deliver order and sense on a subconscious level. Thankfully, all the work and science behind how colors work together has already been covered by numerous great artists throughout the ages. Before you can begin creating amazing color combinations, we would have to go over the basics of color mixing, and we begin with the three-part color wheel containing the well-familiar primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. As you probably already know, in traditional color theory used in pigments and inks, the three primary colors cannot be mixed or formed by any other combination of colors. They are the primary mixing ingredient, and every other color is formed by mixing them. Then we have our secondary colors: green, orange, and purple. These colors are formed by mixing the primary colors. And finally, tertiary colors. These are the colors that are formed by mixing secondary colors with primary. Now that you have basic understanding of color, we can dive deeper into the different harmonic rules. There are many theories for harmony, but for this introduction we will go over a few of the basic and fundamental formulas. One of the most basic harmonies is the monochromatic harmony. It's based on a single hue with variation to the value of luminosity. This way, tints or shades of the base color are created without breaking the harmony. Another basic color harmony rule is the analogous colors, in which colors that are side by side on a 12-part color wheel, such as yellow-green, yellow, and yellow-orange, are considered in harmony. Usually with this harmony, one of the three colors predominates. And finally, one of the most popular color schemes is the one based on complementary colors. and it's actually considered to be one of the main fundamental rules in graphic design. In this harmony, colors that are opposites on the color wheel are combined to create maximum contrast and stability. Now that you're armed with all this creative knowledge, you will be able to choose the correct colors for your projects, and you will be able to amaze your audience. But there are two technical color models that as a graphic designer you must understand. They are RGB and CMYK. You might have heard of CMYK before, and you might know a little about it, but simply put, RGB and CMYK are two different color mixing modes. They're both very common and are used on a daily basis for different purposes, as each one produces a different color range through different techniques. As a quick reference, the RGB color mode is used for monitors and other light-emitting devices, such as TVs and screens, while CMYK is used for printing. But to fully optimize your design, we must go over the mechanisms behind each of the two color modes. To start off, RGB, or red, green and blue, is the color space that is currently being used while you're watching this very course. You should use the RGB color mode when your design is supposed to be displayed on any kind of screen, whether it would be a phone, computer, or any other kind. The RGB color mode creates each specific color by using the light source found within a device, by combining red, green, and blue and varying their intensity. This kind of mixing begins as a black darkness, and by adding each of the three main colors as light on top of each other, it brightens and creates the desired pigment. When red, green, and blue light is mixed together at equal intensity, they create pure white. In this color mode, we are able to control hue, saturation, and luminosity to manipulate how light on screen manifests to create the color we want. Unlike RGB, the CMYK or cyan, magenta, yellow, and black color space is used for printing materials. It's one of the most common and commercially available pigment combinations and can be found almost everywhere, from professional printers to the printer you might find at home or your office. Unlike RGB, where light is used to create a desired color, with CMYK, physical ink is combined by the printing machine to achieve this. This method is also known as subtractive mixing, and all colors begin as blank white as the paper we insert in the printer. By adding each layer of ink, we reduce the initial brightness to create the preferred color. When cyan, magenta, and yellow are combined, they create a low-density black. And here is where the fourth pigment known as key or black comes into play. By adding it, we create the pure black that we are used to seeing. Now that you are familiar with both color spaces, you should start to see how they're both quite similar, but at the same time, they're kind of opposites to each other. With RGB, we're adding energy-based colors together, and by combining all of them, we get white. While with CMYK, we're subtracting pigment-based colors, and by combining all of them, we get black. The final part of color theory is color association. Throughout history, color has been used for many different purposes, whether it would be for religion, wealth, or to show a person's position in society through clothing and other means. It's always had a deep symbolic meaning and association. In our modern world, different cultures associate color differently. For example, in the West, the color red is commonly associated with warnings and danger. It is also associated with feelings like love and anger, while in China, it's considered the color of luck. It is also the color of joy and creativity to Hindus, while at the same time it's considered to be the color of death in some parts of Africa. Of course, you're not expected to know each association of a specific color, But this just shows how important the early research phase from the creative process is, as it could affect the whole design process if not done correctly.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, do give us a thumbs up and share it. Also check out amazing discounts and offers on our premium courses in the description below.